Back here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, first of 3 against Tampa Bay, and very happy to have Joe Jordan with us, the Orioles Director of Scouting, back from Sarasota where the Orioles conducted their 2011 draft. 50 players taken in the draft, and Dylan Bundy at the top of the list. Now you're sitting there with number 4. There's some real good college arms in there, but Dylan Bundy, by everything that we heard and read nationally, may be the best overall player in the draft. Tell us about it.
Yeah, we're excited to get him. He's a player I'm very familiar with. Obviously, drafted his brother, a few years back. But, he's a pitcher. I mean, everyone talks about the stuff, and his stuff is really big. He's got a breaking ball and a slider. Good changeup for a young pitcher, but he can pitch. I mean, the kid is a pitcher.
You got a chance to see some of the highlights, and you're watching them right here. And one thing I've always noticed is how good a young pitcher's mechanics are. It seems like there's not going to be that much work that has to be done with this guy right now as far as improving those mechanics.
No, you're right on. I mean, he's just really solid at what he does, and he trusts his stuff. He likes to pitch with a 2-seam fastball, which I kind of look for with young pitchers. They're not trying to throw a 4-seam by a guy all the time. He knows what he's doing. Yeah.
His brother Bobby Bundy is pitching very well at Frederick. He was an 8th-round pick. You were able to get him signed very fast. You got him to a short-season team, and he's being brought along as you bring along most high school pitchers one step at a time, and it's doing good for him and it's good for you. Now, I realize this is a little different scenario with the 4th overall pick, but one of the things that I just don't get is why the players don't understand with their agents that the real money is behind me. It's right here in the big leagues, and the quicker they get in, the better it is for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, we wish we could sign them all in the first week and get them out, because Dylan Bundy, if he was pitching in our system this summer, he would skip some things next year. But it's just the way it is. It's the way that the game is right now, and, we'll work our way through it.
Joe, two-part question here. Number one would be, it's got to be a lot of fun for you the last couple of years. Ever since you drafted Matt Wieters, he comes up here. He's an impact player. Matt is an impact player. All these guys are really exciting guys. We're looking at Bundy now and Machado. I mean, these guys really got to excite you. You've got to be happy about the way we've drafted here the last couple of years.
No, I am. And, it's one of those things. I think the longer you do any job, the better you get at it. And probably, I've got a really good staff, and I think more than anything, I haven't gotten any smarter. I've just probably gotten better at listening, and we have some really good scouts, and they've gotten us on some good players at the top of the draft, but also down in the draft. So it's going well. I mean, it really is. It's going good. I'm excited.
The other part of my question was, Bundy was a heck of a hitter at the same time. A guy's got power, and he drove in runs. Is there any thought that maybe we might be able to draft a pitcher, not only can be a great pitcher, but maybe we can make him a DH and a power guy at the same time?
Well, Jim Walton's a bureau scout in Oklahoma, works for the Major League Scouting Bureau, and he told me I'm crazy for drafting him as a pitcher. He said, you ought to send him out as a third baseman. And if he was only a third baseman, he'd probably be in the top 50 picks of the draft. He's a pretty good baseball player. He can hit.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me when Nick Markakis was drafted, the Orioles were one of the few organizations that looked at him as a hitter as opposed to a pitcher, and I think that's worked out okay for the Orioles. Let's get a look at the 2nd through the 6th round, because one thing you've taught us over the years since you took over is a lot of your drafts are made really from 5 down. Tell us about some of these guys, in particular Nick Delmonico, who's a high school third baseman whose father is a college coach, so there's some baseball pedigree.
Yeah, I mean, Nicky is, he's a player that it's a mature, advanced high school hitting approach. He takes a lot of pitches. He's a little bit like Jason Hayward. Jason Hayward was a hard guy to scout in high school because he wouldn't swing the bat. I mean, he really wouldn't. He took a lot of pitches, and so he's a lot that way, but he comes from a good baseball family. His dad, like you said, he's coached for a long time, and we'll see how that one goes. We got some work to do on that one.
Joe, there's no doubt that we made some great picks as far as the pitching goes, but position players are important too. Is there anybody who really sticks out for you as being an exciting impact player, somebody maybe out of high school even though too, that might be able to come up here and take over in a first-string role?
Well, you're talking about down in the draft?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, from a position player standpoint, I don't know if I heard exactly what you said, but our 2nd-round pick's going to be a good baseball player. He's really, he's an advanced defensive player who swings the bat. I mean, there's bat and power, we believe. playing for Vanderbilt, so he may be playing for about 3 more weeks. They've got a really good college team, but you know, I hadn't had a lot of time to look through it and really absorb it, but I like what we did. We got college pitching, we've got some high school pitching, we've got some position players, not as many probably. You know, we've got a lot of summer follows. There's a lot of work to do to put the draft together. We've taken them. You know, we still got some scouting to do. We've agreed to terms with a couple of top 10 picks already. We'll announce those later. But it's going well.
Feel free to do it right here. I mean, we won't tell anybody.
I'll get in trouble with her.
All right. Well, Joe, congratulations on a successful draft. Dempsey's volunteered to lend you his checkbook so you can get a head start on signing some of these guys and getting them in the system.
I might need it.
That's why we've only signed 2.
There you go. Well, congratulations on a great draft, and hopefully Dylan Bundy will be here sooner than later.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. That's Joe Jordan, he and his staff. They do a great job, and Dylan Bundy, the number 4 overall pick, hopefully soon to be in the Orioles minor league system.